Hey you guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing one of the other most requested makeup looks that I do on a daily basis. So this is the other one. My lashes are looking crazy, so please ignore that. It's not a reflection of my girl's work. She does an amazing job. I'm just in between and I have an appointment tomorrow. So I was not going to film until then, but then I was like, you know what, it's whatever, you get the idea. So anyways, for those of you who are returning, welcome back and thank you for watching. And for those of you who are new, my name is Erin. I am a ex-professional makeup artist. I mean, I guess, I don't know when it goes away, maybe I'm still professional technically, but I worked for 2 major brands. I have a stepdaughter who's now 4 and a 9-month-old son. But these are my like quick and easy kind of looks that I do because obviously I don't have a ton of time. So I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, you guys, so I already did my brows, which I'll just go over real quick. I'm using the Anastasia Brow Definer, and it has 2 sides, a spoolie, and this little kind of angled situation, which was similar to the Charlotte Tilbury one. The payoff is a little bit different. And the shade that I'm using is soft brown. So I just kind of go right underneath and fill in where I need, and then I take concealer. I did concealer on the bottom to kind of carve them out a little bit. But I haven't done the top. So I wasn't really planning on filming because my eyelashes look god-awful. So this is not a reflection of her work, by the way. I just need to go in and get them filled. So please ignore that. Okay, so this is gonna be the second most common look that I do on myself. So it'd be more of like a daily look, if you will. But it's another one that you guys have been asking for. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to use same base as I did last time, Laying Low, the Pro Longwear Paint Pot from MAC. Looks like this, just a neutral color. I'm gonna go ahead and use just a flat synthetic brush. You could use a fluffy brush, doesn't matter. You just want a thin layer. If you use too much, it can actually make the shadow crease. I just do this so it creates a nice smooth barrier for my foundation, for my eyeshadow. So it goes on smooth and stays on longer. So if you hear any weird noises in the back, it is bath time for my little pterodactyl. I'm gonna go right underneath. Yeah, so he decides that, you know, he's learning how to talk. So he has like his high-pitched little screeches. And it's the cutest thing, unless apparently you're at Trader Joe's and you're annoying an older woman who proceeds to tell me that my child is, what did she say exactly? I don't want to mess this up. She told her husband that apparently my child is going to be well disciplined. And I was stunned. So I just like looked at her and I was like, my first thought was your haircut sucks, which I already told people that, but you know, people are just miserable sometimes, so you just let them. I'm like, whatever. I don't know what her deal is, but she's a grumpy old lady, and I don't even know. My son can do no wrong. He's the cutest thing. Anyways, I wouldn't let him act like a psychopath in public either. Like, if you haven't noticed, well, maybe you don't watch my Instagram, but my 4-year-old is very, very well behaved because we don't really allow for, you know, disrespect and things of that nature. Okay, so off topic. Today I'm going to be using the Instant Glow or Instant Look in a palette from Charlotte Tilbury. I obviously use these colors a lot because this has been like a super fast and easy look for me. I've used it before. I'm going to go in with the lightest shade, which is this one right here. And I'm going to put this in the inner corner. So this is going to be pretty quick. I'm using a fluffy brush. The MAC 224, any fluffy brush will be fine. My cat just jumped on my table, so he might walk in front of my camera right now because he too is the boss of me apparently. Okay, second shade is this guy. I'm actually gonna mix it with this blush tone. It's like a deep kind of, I don't even know, like mahogany, but it's a blush. But I like it for eyeshadow because it's like the perfect amount of kind of like a purpley red. So like I said, I'm mixing those 2 shades together, same fluffy brush. I'm not quite, if you can tell, going on the inner corner because I want my eyes to look nice and big for this look, especially because I'm missing so many lashes right now. I have a lash appointment tomorrow, but I couldn't wait to film for you guys. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit more of a dense brush. We are going to use the 217 from MAC. As you can see, it is dirty, but it's got the same eyeshadow color on, so it's just fine. Although, like I always say, the cleaner they are, the longer they will last. So I'm going in with the darkest brown shade, which is this guy right here, starting on the lid here and just bringing it up, doing little circles. So all of Charlotte's shadows are really rich. They have a lot of, actually they don't have a lot of fillers or binders, so the color goes on true and it goes on very smooth. So you don't actually need a base when you are using Charlotte's shadows, supposedly, but sometimes I do, sometimes I don't with her product. But for this case, I am, because I want to make sure it stays on all day long. And I have a kid who's often swiping my face, so I really want to make sure I have all the support I can get. Okay, I'm going to take the same brush and the same dark shadow, and I'm literally just going to go right underneath and just hug my lower lash line. This is going to make a soft smoky look. Really easy. Okay, now I'm gonna take Charlotte Tilbury's Uptown Girl palette, and this is a pop shade, so it's basically a glitter shadow she has in every single one of her palettes except for one of them. But you use your finger, which I'm gonna do, and I'm just gonna press on the lid on the inner corner and kind of bring it up a little bit. But you see how insane that is? Just so beautiful. And I'm gonna do a little bit on the inner corners here, just like so. Even this by itself is like really pretty. If you didn't really want to do any other eyeshadow, I'm just kind of put some on the inner corners just to kind of open up the eyes a little bit, because let's be real, who sleeps anymore? Well, maybe some people do, but I don't. Okay, otherwise I wouldn't be able to get ready if I didn't sleep. I mean, if I slept. See, I'm so tired. Okay, it's fine. So now we're going to use MAC's Eye Kohl in Teddy. Again, I like the eye kohls. I have tried many different brands, and I don't know, I'm just really sensitive to different liners. So this seems to work well for me. I like the longevity. I like it with my lash extensions. It comes off easy, but it stays on well. So I'm literally just scribbling this down underneath here. I'm not quite going all the way in the inner corner, but just like that. I'm now going to take my fluffy brush again, and I'm literally just going with whatever residual eyeshadow was on the brush, and I am buffing this in. Just like that. That way it stays, and now it's kind of set. I'm going to go in with the top. I'm going to pull my false lash down and just scribble a little bit here on the top lash line. I'm gonna do the same thing with the brush. Oh my god, I almost like dropped it. Just soften it. You can hear my child in the background, clearly not wanting to get out of the bath. Okay, I'm actually gonna take my pencil and pull it up and wing it out just a little bit. So I'm literally going from where the bottom of my eye kind of creases, and I'm pulling it up. So it's a very subtle winged liner, and just gonna have it meet the top. So it's a little bit thicker on this side. So I'm going to make it a little bit thicker on this side now. Just like so. And I'm going to take my brush, do little tiny circles to soften this whole situation, because it is daytime, so obviously it's pretty dramatic for most people during the day. Still, not this one, but I am gonna just buff it out. Okay, perfect. Super easy. Okay, let's do skin now. So I'm going to try something a little bit different. My self tanner, I feel like, is definitely disappearing. So I'm going to be taking Laura Mercier's Tinted Moisturizer in Sand. Looks like this. Oh, the light's hitting it all weird. But I'm going to use my fingers for this portion. I did prime my skin as well. And I actually don't have it with me right over here, but I go from a few different products. Sometimes I use Wonder Glow from Charlotte Tilbury, which has hyaluronic acid in it, so it's got benefits for the skin. And then sometimes I use Unseen Sunscreen, which I used today. I actually use that a lot of the time. It has like the SPF 40 in it, and it just really smooths out my pores, which are now massive after giving birth. I don't know, like, it's so crazy what it does to your body. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take Charlotte Tilbury's Magic Foundation, just like this. This is shade 5. This is a natural matte finish. I kind of go between whatever foundation I feel like using. I don't know, it just depends on my mood, but this is what we're doing today because I feel like it might match me a little bit better. This is my 190 flat synthetic brush from MAC. Any flat synthetic brush will be just fine. So I'm kind of starting on the center of my face. So I am getting quite the pronounced wrinkles on my forehead. I blame a lot of different things, but anyways, I'm still nursing full time, although my supply is finally kind of diminishing a little bit. I'm just letting my body kind of do its thing now that I'm 9 months postpartum. But anyways, I'm excited to try Botox for the first time. I'm definitely gonna film that with you guys. Hopefully I don't have some crazy reaction. Okay, so I'm going right on top of my brows, bringing it down to carve these guys out, because brows definitely change your face. They're such a important factor, I feel like. Apparently so does Phoenix. She's very aware of people's eyebrows. It's kind of funny. She'll be like, I have beautiful eyebrows. I'm like, yeah, you do. She's very observant, I should say, actually. She'll be like, why are you coloring in your eyebrows? I'm like, sis, you'll know one day. I don't really let her, we don't like her to wear makeup. Although on her birthday, I let her wear pink lipstick. First of all, it's expensive. Second of all, I mean, she's just a little kid, you know? We like to do the fake makeup around here. Okay, I'm using my Beauty Blender today. I spray it with my Mario Badescu spray. Sorry, I'm like just talking and kind of moving quickly, because this is how I do it when I'm not filming. It's a very fast process because I don't have a ton of time. Just pressing this in. The color seems to be okay. I don't know. I'll find out today when I see my mom if she calls me out for my foundation not matching, but that's what moms are for, you know? I think I said that last time, but it's so true. Okay. Seems to be all pressed in. The coverage, like I said, is a more medium to full because it's buildable. I just kind of did a thinner layer. My skin's feeling a bit hydrated because I have my tinted moisturizer on underneath. I didn't moisturize today because my skin was not really, it was kind of oily when I woke up, and I just washed it and left it as is. I don't always moisturize, especially when I'm wearing makeup, because I do it at night. I do the Sunday Riley, one of the oils there, and I mix it with the Summer Fries Jet Lag Mask, and I just buff that into the skin and wear that as my moisturizer right now. Okay, so I'm going to be using the Born This Way, I don't even know, multi-sculpting concealer. I was mixing the Shape Tape one last time, but because my tan is kind of non-existent at this point, that would be way too dark for me, so we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna use another 224 brush from MAC. It's just the fluffy eyeshadow brush. And as you can see, it's also not clean. Sick, I know, but I have a gajillion. So if this guy needs to go to retirement, that is totally fine. Okay. I feel like there's not really enough concealer in the world to help my under eyes, but whatever. Okay, so what I'm gonna use is, to set it today is my little trick. It's the MAC Studio Fix Powder Foundation in shade NW10. So it's like a neutral warm, so it's gonna be more of a pinky undertone, and which is good because it'll cancel out, you know, help cancel out more of that green vein underneath the eye. And it's a actual powder foundation, so the coverage is there, because Lord knows that I need all the coverage I can get for my under eye. But I don't like to put on like a ton of heavy like concealer, because then it just kind of goes into the lines. But this one, for whatever reason, I just feel like works well with whatever powder I'm setting it with. All right, I think that's fine for what I can see. Okay. I have an itch. Okay, NW10 Studio Fix Powder Foundation. My case is a little bit homely looking. I'm gonna use a little, this brush is kind of flat, I don't know if you can kind of see. I strictly use it for this powder, so that's also why it needs a bath. But I'm just pressing underneath the eye, so you can see it kind of makes a big difference. And I'm pulling it down. I'm gonna do a little bit where I'm gonna highlight as well and do some in the center of the face. Okay, we're gonna highlight now. I'm gonna use my Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand, looks like so. I'm gonna take a little bit of my inner corners of my eyes with a 217 brush from MAC, which is their more dense blending brush. Just gonna hit it on the inner corners to help brighten up the eyes and make it look like I actually sleep. All right, I'm gonna take my beauty blender, put some on here, and I'm just, my beauty blender is still damp from my Mario Badescu spray, by the way. So I'm just gonna press it on top of my cheekbone here. And then for the contour, I'm gonna use the same thing, which is her contour wand. And the shade, again, I like to use is medium dark, and she only has 2 shades. The medium dark looks pretty dark because it is. I'm taking a little bit of that highlight and kind of doing it on my forehead here too. So whenever I have a blemish or a breakout, I typically don't like to put a ton, if it's on my forehead, I don't like to do a ton of shimmery products, because sometimes that makes everything look a little bit more pronounced. What we're gonna use now is a dense brush here. Again, this stuff dries really fast, so you just want to work quickly. I mean, not like fast enough to like not get it. I definitely feel like it's worth it. The color is great. It's not too gray. The lighter shade is a little bit more gray, but it's still really flattering. This one just works better for me, and I don't want to have like, I mean, I have a gajillion contours and stuff, but I mean, I don't need any more, so I'm using what works for me now. So you can see I'm kind of bringing it up to meet my highlights, so those guys kind of marry well together and look a little bit more seamless. I'm going to take some around my hairline here and frame the base, bring it down. Okay, and I'm going to contour my nose a little bit as well. I'm going to take another a little fluffy eyeshadow brush here, and I'm going to start my eye socket and just bring it down. And I'm going to set this highlight with another highlight, because why not be super extra? Actually not really. That's kind of how I get everything to stay, I feel like, throughout the day, even with a child like hitting my face constantly and stuff, is just setting everything. This, I don't know if they still make anymore, but it's a mineralized highlight from MAC. It's the Faintly Fabulous. Just gonna swirl it all together. It's just super jet milled highlight. I use quite a few different ones as well, but this one is not. The particles are a little bit more smooth. A little hit above the brow here, on the nose, just like so. Blush today is going to be Climax from Charlotte Tilbury. Looks like so. I'm going to use a, technically it's a contour brush from MAC. It's my favorite. The 168. The fibers are super soft. But this blush is more of like a bronzy blush. Okay. All right. Ta-da! The pterodactyl is now out of his bath, so if you hear weird noises, he is getting dressed. Okay, eyebrows, eyebrow gel. This is the Milk Kush Fiber Brow in shade Haze. It's technically the blonde shade. Got a little fuzz here. But I like to add dimension to my brows, so I use a shade a little bit lighter. I'm literally just kind of brushing them up. And even if you feel like you don't have any hairs, you should try and see the big difference that it makes, because it grabs onto every little invisible fiber that you have, and it makes the biggest difference. So if you don't really have a ton of brows, definitely grab one of these. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to spray my little plain mascara wand here with my Mario Badescu spray. A lot of times when I'm in the bathroom, I just use water. I'm just combing my very sad lashes. Again, it's not a reflection of her work. I just had a lot of, it was a growth cycle for me, so sometimes I can go a long time without getting a fill, and then if I have a growth cycle, they kind of all just fall at the same time. So that's what's happening. Mascara, if you guys have any good recommendations, I want to know, but this one is the Extended Play Giga Black. I like it because it doesn't transfer on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and put this guy down here. Can we talk about like this insane baby hairs that I have from being postpartum? My hair is coming back like coming in hot, and it's intense because I look like a little bird or something. It's kind of funny. And then I've been using a newer hairspray that I like. It's the Amika brand. It's like their super hold hairspray, so it really helps. So I'll spray it on the top of my hair and just kind of fold everything down so that little hairs kind of stay. It seems to be working. The only problem when I use like a really strong hairspray is it dries out my scalp, so then my scalp kind of peels like sort of right in the front here. But there, you know, what can you do? Apparently I could just walk around with my baby hairs everywhere, but that's not a life that I'm choosing to live right now. Okay, I don't really have a lip picked out. Haven't really thought that far ahead, you guys. So I'm just gonna put on just my basic Iconic Nude from Charlotte Tilbury. All right, just gonna throw this on top. He's having a lot of fun in there. Okay. Good enough. So that is my other everyday eyeshadow look, really fast and easy. So I hope you guys enjoyed and learned a thing or two. That is all she wrote.